Welcome to my channel, to everyone who's new here, and of course to those of you who are back again. Great to have you here. In this video we will take a look together at possible scenarios for the price development of Render, TAO, Kaspa and ONDO. Things remain exciting, so make sure to watch until the end. And I currently have a campaign with Bitunix. If you use my referral link, which you can find in the video description, where you also get a 20% discount on their taker fees, and you also deposit some money into it, then you get a futures bonus, trading bonus, and with that bonus you can trade even. Yes, it's very nice. And you will also see in the video description a link to mexc. So if you want to trade on mexc, you also get a 20% discount on their taker fees. So let's jump into Render, but before we do that, I want to say that every coin is currently moving downwards for sure. Okay, we got the push to the downside, but we hit our take profit areas. And all the chart patterns which I have done within the Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP and Solana update, we have even seen some bullish chart patterns. They broke to the downside. And in the SUI, AVAX, HBAR and Dogecoin update, we also went into our take profit areas. We had some bullish chart patterns on the chart. Some of them also broke to the downside. So I stopped doing anything now. And in my opinion, we have tomorrow Friday, afterwards the weekend. And on the weekend the market is going to develop a bit slowlier. And there we can even track some chart patterns. So my job is personally done in my opinion. We have seen we have provided you good analysis in my opinion. And we went into the take profit areas. So we can talk about that a bit. So for Render, we have said here already, if we lose the $4, which we did here, where we got the retest, then we should drop to $3.80. Here we also lost the support, got our retest. Okay, we got a push to the upside because we had a fair value gap here. Afterwards, $3.65. That's the target. For Render, we have also said if we lose the $3.65, then we should even drop into the area between $3 to $3.24. I don't think that we are going to do it in one rush. I think that maybe next week, if we get the bearish chart patterns on the chart, then we can think about that scenario. But we can also look into the 4-hour chart, because I think we have a bullish divergence there. And yes, we have it. So if we look into the RSI, then you can see we have a higher low in the chart, but we have a lower low in the chart. We have a lower low in the chart and a higher high in the RSI. Since the RSI is still up here, we still have space to the downside and we would still have a bullish divergence. So I can imagine that we are going to fill even more the fair value gap, which is down to $3.36. But there I would be careful, because afterwards I would say that would be too bearish, rushing in one way down. But yeah, it can also happen. So I took my profits for all my trades, and I have also closed all my short trades just before I did this video, because I was thinking that most coins have fair value gaps. For example, Bitcoin, as you can see it here in the 50 minutes chart, you will even see more fair value gaps. So if we look into Render, you can see that Render also has fair value gaps in the 50 minutes chart. But on the 1-hour chart, we just have one fair value gap. So if Bitcoin gets into his fair value gaps, it's going to push the altcoins to the upside. But what is this going to be? If we get a push here into the fair value gap, we can even sell off for far lower prices. Also possible. Since I don't know what is going to happen, since I don't see any kind of trading opportunity where I would say this is safe to trade. Look, if we go into the 50 minutes chart, it looks like that we are getting a retest at $3.65. It can also work. We can also sell off from here. Usually I jump into the trade when I see the retest. But I don't want to jump into the retest if over it is a fair value gap and you can already see it, the fair value gap. I would even call it, it's one big fair value gap up to $3.80. Do I want to get into a short trade right here, where we can every time boost to the upside, filling the fair value gaps, and from here sell off? I think if that is going to happen and I entered the short trade right here, then I'm going to be very angry. Because afterwards, it's probably my liquidation or my stop loss order gets hit, something like this. And afterwards we sell off, and this would be even a profitable trade. So since I don't know how to manage it, I want to wait until we get, for example, a rising wedge which fills the fair value gaps over us. And if I see a nice trend line, which we had before on the chart, and we break to the downside, then I'm in for a short trade again. But as long as I don't have the setup, I'm not going to trade. So the targets are still ongoing from the bearish pennant, from the bear flag, and from the rectangle up here. It's the whole area between $3 to $3.24. So what about TAO? We have already said up here in this market stage that TAO is short. We sold off into the 388 US dollar. We also lost the 388 US dollar, and we got already the first signs of bearishness right here. I had one trend line on the chart, which is green, where I would have said if we break it to the upside, then we would get some positive momentum, but we should see the 371 US dollar. If we also break it to the downside, next target 360 US dollar. We went even down to 351 US dollar. So basically all the targets got hit, and yes, TAO has still some downside potential. Into the next fair value gap, down to 342 US dollar to 348 US dollar. But do I want to hunt the last penny? Nope. So I'm personally out of the trade. And we have to see what TAO is going to do and what TAO is going to develop. I would still keep that green trend line on the chart, but the breakout would here be at 388 US dollar, and this is still a way up, 8%. On the way up, we would also close some fair value gaps, so it might be even possible that we just push to the upside, get rejected here, and sell off, depending for sure on how the chart is going to develop, but we will see it, I don't want to say tomorrow, maybe over the weekend. So, it's kind of nice. We had the sharp sell-off here. First of all, breakout of the rising wedge, retest, sharp sell-off. Afterwards, we have said we have here a huge fair value gap. This one here, this was the fair value gap. And I have said, okay, we have also the white trend line, and with a push to the upside, we should fill the fair value gap, and we should also hit the white trend line, and afterwards should sell off into round about 8 cents. With this push to the downside, we were very close to the 8 cents. Here's the circle. And the price even went perfectly to 8 cents. Anyway, I think the target got hit, and we have to watch now. So I can delete this one as well. I will also clean up the chart a bit over the next day. So I have one trend line on the chart. This is the white trend line, which is very sharp. I mean, it has 3 touch points, but the angle is so sharp that this is not going to be the long trigger in my opinion. So we also have to wait here for a nice chart pattern development where we can say this is tradable for us. So far we hit the target, and yes, we can still drop to the 7.95 cents in my opinion. And yes, we can also break it to the downside and get to 7.6 cents. But I think that the push to the downside should be done soon, and we should get some price movement to the upside. And here I think it will get decided if this, for example, was in head and shoulders formatation, or if this is just going to be a rising wedge, which afterwards breaks to the downside. So I want to get surprised from Kaspa. So, ONDO. We have said about ONDO that ONDO has the chance, I even took profits a bit earlier, but afterwards 81.8 cents. We hit the target, we also got support there, we got also this push to the upside. But afterwards, this was not expected from my side, but I have also told you that we have a fair value gap lower than us. If we go into the 1 hour chart, then you can see it, it's a big one. It might be possible that we go for that fair value gap. But I also want to show you, on the 4 hour chart, we are also having here a bullish divergence in the RSI. Higher highs in the RSI, slightly same highs, same lows in the chart. So higher lows in the RSI, same low in the chart, bullish divergence. So I can still imagine, and you can see it already how often we got red candles, that we go into the fair value gap, which reaches prices down to 74.7 cents. And there we have also to check. Maybe this is a double bottom pattern, which would be bullish. Maybe this is going to be a head and shoulders formatation. Inverted one, which would also be bullish. So I don't see any kind of chart patterns. Take profits were set a bit earlier in my opinion for ONDO, but still profit is profit in my opinion. So I can take out the price marks and have to wait until we get some nice chart patterns which we can break to the upside or to the downside and which we can trade. So the breakout, if we hold the low here, would be the 86.9 cents. If we break it to the upside, then we would get some upside momentum. And I can just put you here the target of that possible double bottom pattern. That is going to be the 95 cents, but I would still delay this pattern because I want to see it getting developed. So with that said, I want to tell you that we have to wait a bit, we have to be patient, we shouldn't get into FOMO. Just because the coins are dropping a lot doesn't mean that we have to jump into a short trade right now. I won't do it. I closed my short trades, even took profits, and I'm looking forward for new chart patterns which we can trade, which direct us the price development, and then we can take some more safer trades which hopefully get us in profits. Instead of getting into FOMO right now, getting into a short position, and then we see something like this. So, thank you for watching, and we see each other tomorrow, unless nothing changed. For example, the price didn't do anything, and I'm not going to do a video tomorrow, but I will also keep you informed with the community posts. So, see you then.